Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The Mnangagwa government has established a US 16 billion Mutapa Investment Fund. And Professor Gift Mugano has posted something on his X account praising, calling it a game changer. I think what needs to be said here is that as long as Zimbabwe remains a pariah state, there will be no meaningful economic, political, and social change in the country. The country is in a mess. There's economic meltdown, there's political paralysis, and millions of our people are living in abject poverty. That will not change as long as the country remains a pariah state. That point must be made, and made emphatically. I'll show you Professor Mugano's post on social media. And I will strongly recommend that those of you who have got the opportunity to do so should take the trouble to read through it. Because I think it raises some interesting points. In it, as far as I'm concerned, the most probably key point he raised is when he admitted that the investment fund will only work if there is good corporate governance. This is important. The institutions that are being funded by this Mutapa Investment Fund are things like the parastatals. And he admits in that submission that for them to work, there's got to be good governance, good, improved, as he put it, improved corporate governance in the entities. My argument is very simple. You will never have improved corporate governance in these parastatals because they are, by their very nature, have individuals, the CIOs, the top line managers, they are appointed not on merit, but on patronage and your political connections. Those people will never have the ethos of good governance. Indeed, those chief executives know that if they do not do what their line manager or their the parent ministry heads tell them, they'll lose their job. And this goes right up to the State House itself. It's not uncommon in Zimbabwe to find the chief executive of Cisco Steel, NRZ, being appointed by the president. or having very strong connection with ZANU-PF and the president. And if you expect competent corporate government in such a parastatal, you are naive. The people of Zimbabwe must wake up to the reality that Zimbabwe is a pariah state. And this is at the heart of why there's economic meltdown, political paralysis, and social collapse. Millions of our people are living in abject poverty because of it. We could go back to the time soon after independence. Many people will remember Mugabe's Kusarushinji. At every opportunity, he never missed the opportunity to talk about Kusarushinji. Scientific socialism, how he was going to make Zimbabwe a prosperous nation. Kusarushinji, mass prosperity. In reality, Zimbabwe's economic meltdown started soon after independence. And the connection to it, we had a regime that believed that they have the divine right to rule. They were not accountable to anybody. And this allowed the regime to be corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical. That is what happened. Mugabe tried to push his scientific socialism, but corruption had the better of him. And that is the reality. We had a situation where the economy melted down to the point where it shrunk by a staggering 50% in the period 2000 to 2008. At the back of the regime seizing farms from the white owners to give them to the politically connected and a few of the ordinary people. And the agricultural sector collapsed. And this was also fueled by the money printing madness of that time. We saw inflation soaring to nauseating heights of 500 billion% by the end of 2008. Kusarushinji, yeah, right. It was mass poverty. When Mnangagwa took over from Mugabe following the 2017 military coup, he too was cocksure that he was going to fix Zimbabwe's economy. It was going to be the shining example of the world. When he took over in November, he couldn't wait to go to the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, the premier economic gathering world leaders and economic and industrial leaders. There he proudly announced that Zimbabwe was open for business. He was so sure, cocksure, that that was going to encourage a flood of investors. They never came. Investors are a shrewd lot. They knew what had happened following the military coup was nothing more than musical chairs, where one dictator was removed and replaced with another. Zimbabwe is open for business? What are you talking about? Zimbabwe was still a pariah state, ruled by thugs, corrupt, incompetent, who were in power because they rigged elections. Investors were not going to be fooled by that. And so nothing happened. That is the reality. Yes, Mnangagwa has since revised his Zimbabwe is open for business with his so-called Vision 2030. Vision 2030 is saying that Zimbabwe's economy is going to be improved so much so that the current GDP per capita of 2000 will be increased to 6,000, making Zimbabwe an upper middle income nation. That's Vision 2030. The truth of the matter is Mnangagwa has been in power for 8 years already. There's not been any economic improvement. If anything, things are even worse. Corruption was bad during Mugabe's time. Now it has gone into overdrive. Mnangagwa is spending money as if there's no tomorrow. And all of it from selling the nation's assets for a song. There is no investment going on. All these expenditure are not helping grow the economy. This is a dead end. You spend billions of dollars on expensive cars like Rolls-Royce, Mercedes-Benz. For what? To what end and purpose? We need to revive the Zimbabwe economy. And instead, we're spending money on luxuries. This is absolutely, utterly nonsensical. And yet Mnangagwa still wants to maintain that he is delivering Vision 2030. It is a mirage. Recently, while he was addressing the State of the Nation address, reality, he was forced to face up to the reality.
Saka iko zvino magetsi avako, there's no more load shedding. Saka vachiona kana munhu akabuya achiti nyama yabora ine madzake, muti ngave naye nenyama yabora tigomupatsva.
Kasongo yeye mumbali nanga Kasongo mbona wewe songa libala oh yeye Kasongo mbona wewe kasongo mbona wewe mbali nanga kasongo mbona wewe songa libala oh yeah.
That was the truth. Sometimes reality overrides rhetoric and propaganda. And when it comes out like that, it cannot be denied. The rhetoric that Zimbabwe was not going to experience any more electricity shortages, load shedding, came face to face with the reality. That is the reality in Zimbabwe. We keep building up these false images, mirages. Rinamanyanga riputirwi, as one would say in Shona. The problem with the people of Zimbabwe is we have become incredibly naive, gullible, that we are easily conned. It is not only Mugabe and Mnangagwa who has been able to con the people of Zimbabwe again and again. Even the opposition have managed to do the same thing. At the present moment, 2 years after the 2023 elections, many people are still denying that Chamisa lied to them about winning the 2023 elections. We want to believe what we are told, even when the reality is saying the opposite.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifoiri. Plan yamwari haifoiri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
The truth of the matter is, we cannot deny that Zimbabwe is a pariah state. And as long as the country remains a pariah state, nothing will change. As much as this so-called Mutapa Investment Fund is concerned, I think it is just another opportunity for the ruling elite to loot and loot the will. The individuals will be appointed to manage these institutions funded by the Mutapa Investment Fund, will be appointed on the basis of their patronage and political connection. And to think that it will be a game changer is, to say the least, naive. If we in Zimbabwe are serious about changing Zimbabwe, we have to accept that we need to change our governance system first. No one should ever believe that they have the divine right to govern Zimbabwe. And by the same token, every Zimbabwean must have a meaningful say in the governance of the country. The right to free, fair, and credible election is more than a right. It is the essence of good governance. What is killing Zimbabwe today is 45 years of bad governance. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.